Hi everyone, Verac here. Returning viewers will know that I'm a big fan of the Killing Floor series, but I gotta keep it real with you. I played Killing Floor 3 for about an hour and a half and really didn't like what I played, so I refunded it. If you want to disregard my review based on that, be my guest, but Tripwire didn't finish the game before releasing it, so you'll have to forgive me for not caring to experience what this definitely not an early access title had to offer. Whoa! Past the 2-hour time limit before you can get a refund. I got my money back, I don't regret it, and I'm gonna tell you why I don't. Here's a bombshell of a first impression for all you fans of the series out there. In Killing Floor 3, there are only 6 characters to choose from. That's right, 6. If you like Mr. Foster, or are interested in someone new, you're in luck. Everyone else, tough shit. Maybe they're saving the other characters people actually know and like for the Battle Pass. Yeah, don't worry, it's a modern game, so of course it has a Battle Pass and shop timers and premium currency and seasons. Can you even call yourself a video game in 2025 if you don't try to exploit your customers with fear of missing out and then sell them premium currency packages that are conveniently priced to never be the same amount as the bundles you're offering? Let's say you got 2,400 and then you bought the Foster pack. You would be left over with 900. What do you fucking know? 900 is just short of another bundle. Just 100 off. How fucking convenient. I'm so sick of this shit. It's just so obviously and blatantly exploitative of your customers. I can't stand it. Darktide did this on launch. Why? I know why. Because it makes money. But I really just despise this practice, and I would consider refunding it on this alone. I just hate it. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, and I have to move on or I'm gonna be talking about this for the entire video. Back to the characters, right? There's only 6 of them. The reason for the roster being so small is probably because the perks are tied to the characters, and there's only 6 perks. So you've got Commando, Firebug, Engineer, which is kind of support and demolitions combined from what I can tell, Sharpshooter, Ninja, which seems to be basically the Berserker, and then Medic. Do you want to play Mr. Foster as a Firebug? Too bad. Mr. Foster is the Commando. Are you my wife and want to play as a woman but also as a medic? The women are both DPS classes and the medic is a guy. So again, too bad. According to a dev post from the day before launch, they're working on decoupling the characters from the perks so that you can play whatever as whoever you want, and I'm glad they're listening to player feedback from their playtests prior to the launch, but it tells you a lot about how incomplete the game is that they're still making huge game design changes like this while the game is now actively being sold to the public. Sold in 3 different packages, I might add. Another amazing trait of modern gaming. You know, these kind of big changes are the things you'd usually think would be sorted out prior to launch, but what do I know? Killing Floor 3 doesn't have an early access tag on Steam, so it's probably fine. I mean, it looks slightly better than the beta test they had a few months ago, so that's something, right? Right? So we've gotten rid of being able to play any perk you want as any character you want. You know, just one of the big identifiable things that made Killing Floor kind of unique as a series. So here's a couple other fun things that have been changed that were things that made Killing Floor kind of unique as a series. Really glad we could get rid of these. The welder that everyone had, that's gone. Just completely removed, so forget about welding doors. Every character having a rechargeable syringe, which you could heal yourself or other players with, that's gone too. You can still heal yourself, but syringes are now a limited resource that you buy between rounds, and you cannot use these syringes on other players. I always felt that everyone having a syringe was one of the cool things that made Killing Floor kind of unique. Everyone could heal everyone else and be helpful if they wanted to, it was just that the medic was way better at it. Same as everyone having a welder, but support was way better at it. Everyone could still help out if they wanted to. I thought that was kind of fun. It was kind of unique, but, you know, in Killing Floor 3, we have to remove all of the things that gave it an identity, so if you want to keep your dumbass teammates alive in Killing Floor 3, I guess you better get used to playing nothing but medic. Hope you enjoy that. Hope you didn't want to play any other class. So that's 2 more things that made Killing Floor kind of special and interesting. Every character having a welder and a syringe. Whoop! out the window, don't need those anymore, bye-bye. And if after all these changes you still felt like you were kind of playing Killing Floor, don't worry. They've also added collectible player cards and vaulting.
Splendid.
Sliding, dashing, and a bleed out state when you lose all your health that makes you feel like you're playing Call of Duty instead of some other video game. Maybe the one that it's titled on, I don't know. Let's take pointers from the series that has been having an identity crisis for years. That's a good idea. Hold on, what? Now we're having an identity crisis. What the fuck? But there's something else that bothers me more than just about anything else I've mentioned thus far, and it's something more intangible that I haven't really heard other people bring up, and maybe it's silly, but I have to get it off of my chest. Killing Floor 3 is not British enough. Now, I know this sounds strange coming from an American because it's my God-given right to make fun of the British. I'm pretty sure it's in the Constitution, but just hear me out, okay? Let me tell you an anecdote. Back in the day, when I was at home, I'd play games on the family computer. My dad likes video games too, so sometimes he'd come watch whatever I was playing. He'd watch me play some Team Fortress 2, Left 4 Dead, and Killing Floor. He remembers a little bit about all the games I played, some more, some less. When it comes to Killing Floor, he doesn't really remember the perks or the visuals or the guns. You know what he remembers about Killing Floor? It's this.
Money, money, money. Give us a few quid, governor. Hell no. No chance, pal. Who needed money?
He remembers that the characters had ridiculously thick British accents.
Who needed money? Bog off, you wanker. You prat!
To this day, I cannot pull out cash in front of him, or him in front of me, without one or both of us saying,
money, money, money.
And maybe I'm in the minority for this, but I don't care. I miss when the game only had 2 voice actors, and to the average American, they were both insane sounding.
Dog! Where's the bloody crack when you want one? I want drugs, now! Jesus, I'm bleeding like a stuck pig. No.
They were using fucking Cockney rhyming slang, for God's sake. If you did the voice line to say, go upstairs, sometimes they would say, get up them apples.
Get up them apples.
They're saying that because stairs rhymes with apples and pears. It's silly, it's unique, it's specifically British, and I kinda love it. The series' most famous character wears a Union Jack on his chest and has gaudy Union Jacks emblazoned on his cosmetics. Killing Floor doesn't call its enemies zombies, it calls them Zeds. It calls its slowdown mechanic Z time, not Z time. Some of its characters have included people like Captain Sir Richard Wiggins and Kivo the Chav. The series as a whole practically owes its entire memetic footprint on the internet to an English comedian's novelty song from 1988. Harry Enfield's Loads of Money, which the characters in the game reference endlessly.
What's they spell? Loads of money, probably.
Loads of money.
These voice lines were so fun to spam, they were so popular with players in general, that eventually they added Harry Enfield to the game. Sorry, not Harry Enfield. Legally distinct Harold Lotz. He left Dosh behind him in a trail where he walked. I would wager Killing Floor single-handedly introduced hundreds of thousands of people to the word dosh who would otherwise never hear it in their entire life. Try to look up anything Killing Floor related and I guarantee you will run into memes about holding dosh and throwing dosh and dosh dosh dosh. Killing Floor 1 was rooted in a specific place and culture. It made it stand out from all the other shoot the bad guys games. Killing Floor 2 zoomed out from those roots a little bit, but not too much. There were more voice actors with more varied accents, still many of them from the UK, while keeping the 2 classic characters with their original voice actors. Adding a bunch while keeping the originals, that's a great way to handle a sequel. Point is, that unique cultural aspect, it seems small, but it also added just a little something to the game. Some would say, soul. Some would say flare. And in Killing Floor 3, that flare is hanging on by a fucking thread. A thread named Mr. Foster. Because there's only 6 characters, and he's the only one listed as being from the UK. It's a 1 out of 6 now in Killing Floor 3, and it's grim. This game is so confused about its identity. It wants to be Call of Duty. It wants to be Fortnite and Darktide on release, and also Helldivers. And to me, it seems like it also wants to be Overwatch. We're bringing an international team together from all over the world. I liked this when Overwatch did it. I liked it because it was a new property all its own and wasn't skinwalking something else. I don't like that Killing Floor is trying to be Overwatch. I want Killing Floor to be absurdly British, stereotypically British. I want them to add the spiffing Brit to the game, and I want him to fucking throw tea and crumpets at the Zeds while referencing Gordon Ramsay. I want them to add the guys from Top Gear as playable skins and have them insult one another constantly. I want to be able to play as that dude from Birmingham who just woke up in a fucking steamy mood, yeah? Cause he lives in a shithole! Anyway, I think I've made my point on that. Those were my biggest complaints on a broad scale. Here's some other stuff about when you actually boot up the game. The first time I turned it on, the game asks me if I want to enable crossplay. I said no. I play through the mandatory tutorial,
Superb sliding specialist.
stumbled my way through the mandatory hub world, because you can't just get into a game from the main menu anymore. We've lost the tech for that in modern gaming. It can't be done. You also have to go into a completely separate hub world to play solo, which is a little fun thing. Like I said, we just don't have the technology anymore. Anyway, I used my real-life computer to walk my virtual ass up to the in-game computer so that I could get into a multiplayer match in the video game in real life. I loaded for a bit, and then I was greeted by the sight of, wouldn't you know it, console players. Disgusting! Ugh! This is why I turned off crossplay. I don't want to see the plebs. The game did not run well, and as you can see, I am playing with every setting on low. But I am willing to believe that this is just a case of me needing a computer upgrade, so that's fair enough. If it's not just my computer needing an upgrade, then this game is wildly unoptimized. I'd be interested to see what other people say about this, so if you've played this on a high-end computer or if you've played this on console, please let me know down below how it ran for you and how it looked on your system. Moving on, the guns feel worse to use than in Killing Floor 2, and I don't know how to explain it exactly, but it just feels like they don't have as much impact or something. I don't know. I just know it doesn't feel as good. There are also fewer weapons to choose from, but more modifications, so that's kind of a wash. I'm more of a just give me a gun so I can go shoot things type of guy, so I'd personally prefer more weapons versus all the options for attachments, but I think that'll make some people happy. And I also do want to throw in a few positives. The music seems good. I didn't listen to it extremely closely, I was more focused on the gameplay, but I heard metal in the background and my brain went, yep, that's Killing Floor, they got that right, so no complaints there, at least from the songs I heard while playing. And a big compliment I'd like to give to the game is that I actually really like the redesigns of the Zeds. I think the crawler looks fucking nasty, and I mean that in a complimentary, good, horror monster kind of way. The bloat looks way more intimidating. I like a lot of these new redesigns, to be honest. I like it. They're not all perfect. I feel like the flesh pound and the Scrake could be beefier maybe, but overall I felt like these were some pretty interesting and positive changes. But despite that, unfortunately, for all the other reasons I've mentioned already, I don't recommend Killing Floor 3. I hope it improves in the future, and that it'll be worth the dosh, but I'm not holding my breath. I'd like to thank everybody who's bothered to watch to the end of the video. It's very much appreciated. I'd also like to thank all the people on Patreon, YouTube memberships, and all the people who have used code Verac on gamersups.gg. These are all great ways to support the channel. None of it is expected, and all of it is appreciated. Thank you all very much. More videos are on the way, so I will see you in the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye! Another year. You want to look at these reviews with me?
Yeah, okay.
This is a positive review, and it starts with the title, When Style Replaces Soul. What? And it fails hard at carrying the name Killing Floor. Why is this a positive review?
That's so confusing.
The weapons feel cheap. The menu is pointlessly interactive. I agree with that. Baffling. They removed the welder. They removed the syringe that you could actually heal your friends with without being a medic.
Yeah.
This reads to me as ChatGPT. They wrote this review at 0.1 hours of review time. They opened the game for, what is that, 10 minutes or less?
Yeah.
And then wrote this entire review?
Yeah, no.
Okay, the positives, and they say the active abilities are introduced. Yeah, maybe. Weapon modification system brings solid improvement. Maybe. Battle Pass is packed with content. And yes, the premium version pays for itself over
Lies.
time. What is that?
No premium version ever pays for itself.
I've never heard a person ever write a review where they say a game feels soulless and then they praise a battle pass.
Yeah, no.
Nah, this is AI. People are glazing this in reviews with AI. What is going on?
I need some dosh right now. No chance, pal. Loads of money. Tar, mate.